We're going to talk very briefly about what is physical security, what did a traditional system look like, how is technology reshaping them today, what are the threats and why should we be concerned, talk about a few market drivers and inhibitors, and then strategies for success. Hopefully I can squeeze it in 10 minutes. Don't think it's going to be a problem. So this slide is just an excuse to get Wikipedia into my presentations before SOPA takes it away. All it says is that physical security is intended to deny access to an unauthorized personnel. More specifically, they need to detect the unauthorized presence. They need to deter the unauthorized presence by locking doors or whatever it might be. Need to alert the security personnel of the unauthorized presence. They need to respond, either automatically or by sending a person to the site. Looking back, there was no communication between disparate systems, all of which have their applications in security, specifically access control, physical security, video surveillance, alarm monitoring, and incident response systems. This caused a lot of problems. There's a lot of wire. It's very confusing. There's different systems, different interfaces. Everybody needs to be trained on a different one. It's very time-consuming, expensive, leads to higher personnel costs. And then there's natural synergies that exist between these systems that couldn't be leveraged if they're disparate, all on their own, operating in silos. So what are the threats? There's 4 main threats. The first is a physical attack, somebody breaking in and either stealing or causing harm. A cyber attack, which we're seeing a lot more of these days. An industrial accident, or a natural disaster. So there's piecemeal solutions that address all of these separately. For example, access control will take care of physical attack and industrial accident. A video surveillance system will cover the same too. The intrusion detection will do physical attack and industrial accident. Alarm monitoring takes care of the first 3. Incidents response handles all of them, but incidents response systems can't really do much if they don't have support from the first 4. And explosives detection takes care of basically everything except cybersecurity. So if you see, there's a real hole in the cybersecurity end of things right now, and I think Jeff's going to talk about that a little bit more going forward. So these piecemeal solutions are not optimal. What is optimal are integrated physical security systems or physical security information management systems called PSIM. PSIM is more of a concept that's utilized in the building side of the market, but we are seeing it as well in the industrial side. But that's a little bit down the road. I think that's about 5, 10, even a few more years out. Right now what we're trying to do is just integrate these disparate systems so they can communicate together, and then eventually that'll lead to converged systems once people recognize the value. Why should we care? Well, we don't live in a perfect world. Catastrophes happen all the time. The costs of these events are crippling at best and incalculable at worst. It's just like having a good security system is like taking out an insurance policy. But still, people and organizations think it can't happen to us. They say it's never happened to us in the past. It's not my responsibility. We're seeing that more and more as IT and physical security converge on each other. The security department doesn't want to deal with the IT infrastructure, and the IT department says security is not my job. That's a big problem. A lot of companies don't see the benefit. They can't calculate the costs, so they don't see the benefit of spending money to, take care of it. An additional security hinders the process. Nobody wants to sacrifice their output to be more safe. It's just not an acceptable thing. It's not a revenue increasing activity. I would argue that. And there are more important issues, more pressing issues, so security is down the line in pecking order. My question is, how long are you going to be comfortable rolling the dice? But looking at some of the market dynamics, and sorry, this is sort of a busy slide, I'll just sort of breeze through it. The drivers outweigh the inhibitors. We see market growth going forward. Technological advances are the largest driver. Technology has really come a long way in the past few years, and it's really allowing the systems to be converged on each other, integration, things like that, and that's opening up a whole new world of possibilities. The internal disconnects are the largest inhibitor, and I'll expand on that in a minute or two, but what I mean is that the security department, the corporate management, the operations management, and IT all need to be on the same page for a real integrated system to come through and work like it should. And that's proving to be one of the biggest challenges in the market. Going a little bit more on the inhibitors, like I just said, the convergence of physical security, IT, and cybersecurity poses challenges. There's no naming conventions that operate across both departments. These people speak different languages. Do we have any IT guys in the room? Okay, good. No, just kidding. And another big problem is that there's a steep learning curve for these new systems, and security personnel tend to be older, aging personnel who are set in their ways. They've been in the industry for 20, 30 years, and all of a sudden you're telling them they have to do things completely differently. That's challenging for a lot of people, and they're resistant to the change. They want to do things the way that they know how to do them. Some of the market drivers are increasing concerns about security. When there is an event, others look to see if they have similar vulnerabilities. In my opinion, this is way too reactionary. You're basically waiting for somebody else to go through a catastrophic event before you assess your own threat levels. Well, what if that event happens to you and everybody else, and you're the benchmark for everybody else? It doesn't make sense to me. Integration is unlocking new possibilities, and then I think the reduction of costs is a big part of this that I think gets overlooked a lot of times. Intelligent security systems can protect the process as well. This leads to fewer rejected batches or products, making your bottom line more profitable, making the operations team happy, so on and so forth. And then data analytics and robust and comprehensive data is another big part of the proliferation of IP-based systems. I think we're going to see those mature a lot in the next few years. Going forward. All right, so what does a system look like today? The advances in technology are driving integration of the access control, video surveillance, and security systems. There's a push towards open standards and architecture, and this will help from where we are today with semi-integrated systems towards true PSIM, a convergent system, everything built on the same infrastructure in the same language by the same person. It's come a long way as far as open standards and architecture are concerned, but there's still a long way to go. You have some of the larger suppliers in the market who have a large installed base and are used to doing things their way, and they see it as a threat if they open up their system and allow third-party integration and things like that. They see it as more of a threat than a good thing. So there needs to be a shift in the perception of the way that they think for this to really happen. It's starting to happen, and we're seeing it moving forward. But we are still in the early stages of system integration, like I say. And there's new technologies emerging, biometrics, video analytics, business analytics, and the enterprise integration tools. So you see my fun little Venn diagram. We're sort of, there's overlap, and we're starting to bring that overlap together, but there's still a long way to go. So as I said, technology is reshaping the market. Biometrics are pretty interesting. In my opinion, the adoption of biometrics is going to be uneven across different industries. You'll see it used more in high security areas, and fingerprint or palm print recognition, I think, is going to be the most utilized biometric type, even though others do exist. Iris scan, you can read the veins and things like that. It goes on and on. But there's problems with a lot of those. In my opinion, the two that are really going to catch on will be palm and fingerprint. As far as video is concerned, megapixel cameras, HD video, advanced encoding and decoding, and more robust analytics are all changing the way that the video surveillance market looks. It's not CCTV so much anymore as it is networked video, and that's a pretty fundamental change. And then IP modular and scalable systems, they future-proof your investment. They allow you to buy what you need, when you need it, with the ability to grow as you need, or as you see fit, or as your needs change, or as you want more technology, things like that. You're not locked into one size, scale, or investment. So security, or I should say integration, is about more than just connecting devices and systems. It's about integrating people, the process, and the technology. It's sort of a common theme running through the forum this week. It needs to bring the people, I just said that, it needs to bring the people, process, and technology together. So there's two types of integration as well. There's integration with systems that deal with security. So like you're seeing the video surveillance, alarm monitoring, access control, intrusion detection, and there's a couple others as well. But there's also larger security with other facility systems, whether it's HVAC, fire and safety, your lighting system, or the enterprise system as well. Again, this is something that we see more in the building side, but it's absolutely happening in the plant as well. And I would also, in the plant specifically, you're seeing integrated with the process control itself. Some of the problems, there are still challenges with integration. The IP is not completely proven. The security market is very, very conservative and needs to see validation before making an investment. They need to see the perceived benefits, performance claims, and the approximate costs before they want to jump in themselves. So I think the market as a whole is still trying to build up the case studies, and we're going to hit that critical mass pretty soon, and I think we'll see a much faster adoption. As far as people, and I've touched on this a little bit before, getting all parties on the same page can be challenging. Not everybody has the same incentives, not everybody does business the same way. And it can be a real challenge getting everybody in the room together and having them think on the same wavelength. In the future, it's going to be less about system integration and more about system convergence. I sort of touched on that a little bit. Digital systems and open protocols are a prerequisite for this to happen, and I think that's why we've seen such slow adoption. And wireless is going to play a larger and larger role going forward. As you can see, my little thing now, all these are going into one system, and that's what PSIM will be. The process is important. Leo, in the general session this morning from the Department of Energy, had a great, great example, and I'm just going to steal it from him flat out. With the flak jacket, he's saying, you know, if it goes from ceramic to Kevlar, you're okay. If you turn it around from Kevlar to ceramic, you're dead. And I don't think it's quite as extreme in this instance, but the process is very, very important. So you have to assess your risk, your plants, what are the threat levels, how much are you willing to spend on your security system based on your threats. And then you need to review your current system and then new technologies. Then you need to develop your system, your security plan, and your migration path. So if this is a retrofit project, you want to try and maintain as much of the legacy system as possible. This means it's minimally invasive and it'll lower the cost and reduce downtime in your plant. All very important things. And then you evaluate the standards and regulations, the feasibilities and the benefits. Basically, BIM and continuous commissioning and new construction projects are both interesting ways to do this. BIM is building information management, or modeling, excuse me. And then after you evaluate the system or your standards and regulations, you can go back and make an adjustment to your development, you know, tweak your system or your planned system. And then going forward, you design the system, you select your supplier, you select the solutions, you select your level of integration, so on and so forth. And then you need to implement and train your solution and your people. Integrated intelligence systems lower the training and implementation costs. That's another way that integrated systems will save you money. You know, you need fewer people to teach your security personnel. Your security personnel learns how to do everything on one dashboard. Saves a lot of time. And then you need to monitor and record. You need to observe the effectiveness of your system. You need to collect all your data. You need to learn from your data. You need to listen to your data and then make your adjustments going forward. So strategies for success. Make sure your supplier system integrates well with third-party systems. This way you're not locked into any one vendor. You can always make change, and if for nothing else, it gives you leverage against being locked into one vendor, one solution. You want to build solutions on digital infrastructure with IP capabilities. It's a digital world, and the internet is everywhere. It's pervasive. It's not going away. Embrace it. Future-proof your investment by deploying a modular and scalable infrastructure. That's what I was talking about. You know, future-proofing, looking forward, making sure that you can grow as your needs do. Don't venture into the regulatory and compliance jungle alone. The standards are getting more and more difficult, they're getting more and more complex, and there are suppliers here who want to help you with it. So there's no sense in trying to do it all your own and then getting a huge fine because you missed a step somewhere. Suppliers are increasing their focus on services with each passing month, and the regulatory and compliance is a big one. Investigate the many services offered by suppliers. I sort of just touched on that, but another good example would be video surveillance as a service, VSAS, basically remotely hosted video. And there's many, many others. And then you need to evaluate your particular threats and needs. That's an important one. This is a little sales pitch. We just released a study not too long ago on this physical security market for industry and another for buildings. This is just, a brief little teaser on some of the growth rates that we see going forward. 5-year CAGR. I guess it's a 6-year CAGR, actually. But that's it. Just a little bit to wet your whistle there. Thank you very much.